Semi-modal verbs. The semi-modal verbs are need, dare, used to, have to, and ought to. They are called semi-modal because they function the same way as modal verbs, but they don't follow the modal verb rules. They sometimes behave like typical verbs. Some change to agree with their subject, some change tense, and some can be combined with verbs like be, have, and do. Need is used to show necessity and obligation. It is semi-modal because we use to before the main verb. It also changes to match the subject. You need to meet me after school. He needs to sit in the last seat. Notice how we add the S after need for he, she, and it. They need to stop and get gas. For negative constructions, need is used without to before the main verb. She needn't keep that recycling separate. They need not stop and get gas. Dare is used to show that the subject has the courage to do something or to deny or challenge something or someone. It is semi-modal because sometimes we use to before the main verb. It also changes with the subject. He sometimes dares to wear those pants. How dare you take my seat? Dare not is not followed by to. I dare not eat another rule. He dares not steal my seat. In other negative sentences, to is optional. No one dares to get out of line in Miss Judy's class. Or we could say, no one dares get out of line in Miss Judy's class. Used to is used to show the idea that an action happened habitually or routinely in the past, but it doesn't anymore. It is semi-modal because it uses to. He used to smoke, but he fought to quit. I used to have long hair. Used to can also show the idea of being familiar with doing something. I am used to taking a nap after school. My baby brother is used to waking up in the middle of the night. Have to is used to show obligation or necessity. It is semi-modal because it uses to and it changes to match the subject and tense. The principal says I have to come to his office. He has to call my mom. Notice that have to changes to has to for he. He had to make sure I'd been here today. Had then is used for the past. When have to is used as a negative, it doesn't use not like modal verbs. It uses a negative helping verb like don't or won't. You won't have to come back again tomorrow. He doesn't have to work on Saturday. Ought to is also used to show obligation, advice, and necessity. It is semi-modal because it uses to. In all other ways, it is like a modal verb. She ought to take the bus and save money. You really ought to watch what you say. Like modal verbs, use not with ought to when forming a negative. He ought not to have done that. You oughtn't leave that light on.